kitchen. Today we have some smoked duck and just came out of the smoker. And you might be looking at it and thinking it doesn't look very done. It's because it's not. It's been cold smoked. I cold smoked this for about 6 hours with, I used mesquite. You can use whatever wood chips you want. If you're not sure how to cold smoke, or if you don't have a cold smoke generator, check out the video. I'll put an info card. It's very, very simple, very cheap, and it's awesome, especially this time of year when it's cold outside. It's a little bit difficult to do normal smoking where you have to get up to temperature. Cold smoke, you can smoke pretty much anything that will take on flavor of smoke. You don't have to worry about cooking it or burning it or whatever. So this has been on for a good 6 hours, and the smoke aroma is really, really good. So this recipe is really simple. All we're going to do now is put it in a roasting pan and put it in the oven. Just a little bit of prep work. So all you're really going to need is, I'm going to use a couple onions just to fill a cavity, some thyme, or you can use rosemary, and the seasoning's really complicated. Salt, that's it. I'm just going to cover it with salt. Before we do that though, since there's a lot of fat in duck, you want to score it. So you're going to cut like an inch or so sliced across, just through the layer of fat in the skin, and then the other direction, so you're making like this diamond pattern. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Once I cut this, I'm going to pat it dry really well. You want it as dry as possible. Don't take it out of the fridge and just throw it in. You want to get it closer to room temperature. That's going to help you get a nice crispy skin on the outside. If it's still wet, you're not going to get that same result. All right, and it's actually going to go into a roasting pan. I love to do it in my Dutch oven, but it's just too big for that. So, the important thing on this baking tray is you want to have some kind of rack to elevate it, because there's going to be a lot of grease of duck fat that drips out, and you want it above that so there's air circulating so it's not cooking in its own grease. The fat, however, the grease is awesome to cook with. It's good for potatoes, whatever, so do not throw that away. I've got my oven preheated to 215, that's about 425 Fahrenheit. And now I'm going to just basically just cut up these onions, just have them, stuff them inside, stuff a sprig of thyme inside, and give this a good nice coating of salt. It's a little bit of blood, so I'm going to find a paper towel somewhere and just dry that off. Get it as dry as possible. Another thing you can do is, once you get it all prepared, just put it on that rack and put it in the fridge for a few hours, you know. That's going to also get it really good and dry. One other little thing you can do, I don't know, I've never tried this before, I was just watching someone show this, is on the back drumsticks, cut it like that. And supposedly that's going to help the heat get in easier so you don't end up overcooking the breast meat before the rest of it's cooked. Because this time's going to vary depending on your oven and the size of the duck. Ideally, you want an internal temperature of, like, I'll look it up, I think it's 155. You can go a little bit lower than chicken because duck doesn't carry salmonella like chicken can. It's going to cook this side up where the wings are, and it goes right in like that. So now it's ready to put a couple onions inside of it. Before I even stuff those in, I'm going to go ahead and just coat it with salt, a generous amount of salt, rub it in. And on both sides. In the cavity as well. Now start stuffing those onions in. Some of this thyme. Nice sprig of thyme. And that should do it, actually. Alright, so while I wait for my oven to preheat, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in on that pan. And it's gonna go in for about an hour before we come back to it. So we'll come back after I stick this in the oven an hour later. Meanwhile, cooking some bacon for some green bean casserole. I'll be doing a video of that as well tonight. That's gonna be uploaded separately. Be sure to check that out as well. It's gonna be a little spin off of the typical green bean casserole. So the duck's been in for an hour now at 215 Celsius. It's like 425 Fahrenheit. And I just came upstairs, was down in the studio, and it smells awesome. That smoke aroma with the duck is just, whoa, it smells brilliant. So it's time to flip this bird over. Looking really good. Yes, give it a flip. Alright, so we're going to put it back in for another half hour and come check on it. It could take another half hour, 45 minutes. I'm going to be using a meat thermometer. I'm looking for that internal temperature of 155 to 165 Fahrenheit. It's like somewhere like around 69 Celsius. So set a timer for half hour and come back. This is smelling amazing, looking great. The skin looks really nice and crispy this way. Not quite up to temp yet, so what I'm going to do is reduce the heat because it's got enough color on this breast side. I'm going to go down to like 175 Celsius. So I'm going to just give it another flip because I don't want to get this side too dark. I'm just using a grilling thermometer. Stick it somewhere by the leg and the breast. So I can kind of keep an eye on the temperature. So I think another 10 minutes and it's good. It's almost been a half hour since I turned it. So the duck is done. Now we're just going to make a quick kind of juice to go with it. So I'll remove the duck from the pan, let it rest a little bit. Now I'm going to just strain this grease out. The duck fat, save that for later because that is awesome stuff to cook with. We're going to throw everything else back out onto the stove, heat that up. And for one duck, yeah, that's all the fat. And that's really good for cooking, whether it's potatoes, whatever. Once that starts to heat up, we're going to add some wine. You can use white wine, I've just got red, this will work too. Just a little bit, and that's just to kind of deglaze the pan. And I don't think I have a gravy boat, so I'll just pour in this bowl here. There we have the sauce. So that's it. Now time to carve this guy up. Cut off the wings, cut off the legs, cut the breasts. Done. And got the green bean casserole ready here that I almost burnt, but I think it's still safe. I am exhausted. It's late. My girlfriend worked late, I said earlier, I think. So she just got home. We're going to eat. So no taste test video, but I'll put some pictures, plated and all that good stuff. But the smells, yes, I'm pretty confident it's going to be really good. So as I imagined, by the time we were ready to eat last night, my girlfriend got home from work, it was already 11 o'clock. We were starving and tired. So that duck though, that cold smoke roasted duck, I have to say is easily one of the best ducks I've eaten. That's the first time I tried this with cold smoking. The method of roasting in the oven I used came out perfect. I mean, the skin was awesome, crispy. It was not fatty, it was tender, juicy, it was not dry. It came out just amazing. We demolished it. In fact, I don't even think I got a decent picture of it. I did get one, but it didn't turn out very good with my camera, with my phone. because as soon as I started carving into it, it just like we had to eat right away. It was good, and there's nothing left except the bones, which were used for soup, and the grease. So yeah, that's it. And I mean, I highly recommend this method of cooking it. It's New Year's Eve today, so I'm doing it the easy way, and I'm using the crock pot, and I've got that wild boar shoulder in here that just starting. It's going to go for 8 hours, and that was also cold smoked yesterday for about 7 hours. That's what I love about crock pot slow cookers is I got everything ready. It's not even noon yet, and now I can go fishing. I can go do whatever I want. My work is done for the day for dinner, and it's going to be an awesome dinner. Boar is one of my favorites. Till next time.